Sharpen your edge. You've survived more than your mind ever gives you credit for. More struggle and pressure than most people will ever know. And today, whether you realize it or not, you're stepping into the person you were always meant to become. Discipline isn't something you stumble into or magically discover one day. It's something you forge deliberately, like steel, heated, hammered, and shaped with intention. There's a moment when your past loses its grip on you, when the weight of everything you've carried finally begins to fall away. And you are standing in that moment right now, even if it feels unfamiliar. Most people wait for a sign or a perfect moment to change, but you're learning to become the person who creates the sign, who chooses change long before it feels comfortable. That's what discipline truly is, not a habit you struggle to maintain, but an identity you step into piece by piece, a shift in how you see yourself and in who you allow yourself to become. Because when discipline becomes identity, everything feels different. It stops being a fight and starts feeling like the natural rhythm of your life. You've failed before, maybe more times than you want to admit. You've hit walls, broken down, and wondered if you'd ever rise again. But you're still here, breathing, pushing, refusing to lay down. And people who are still here are people who rise again and again, even after the world counted them out. Think about everything you've survived. The weight, the fear, the setbacks, the days you pushed through without any applause. You showed strength you didn't even know you had. Now imagine directing that strength on purpose, not accidentally, not reactively. Imagine choosing to be the strongest version of yourself every single day. Discipline isn't punishment. It's freedom disguised as effort. Freedom from the version of you that kept you average, stuck, and waiting for life to change on its own. It's freedom from hesitation, from guilt, from the endless cycle of starting over. It's freedom from being controlled by temporary feelings that never deserve to run your life. You're not building discipline just to get through life. You're building it to command life, to take ownership of a future most people will never touch. Every disciplined choice sharpens the edge you've always carried, the edge life tried to dull. Most people don't even realize their edge is dull because they stopped using it long ago. But you're different. You're sharpening yours every day, even when no one notices, even when no one understands why. Discipline begins with one choice repeated until it becomes who you are. A decision so simple, it almost feels insignificant, yet powerful enough to rewrite your entire future. And something in you is shifting. You feel it. Your instincts are changing, rising to a level you once thought you weren't ready for. You don't crave comfort the way you used to. You crave progress, movement, momentum, something that makes you proud of yourself again. You don't avoid difficulty anymore. You walk toward it with a steady mind, because you finally understand that the hard path is the one that transforms you. Deep down, you know discipline is how you build the version of yourself you respect. And respect, real, internal, earned respect, is stronger than any motivation you could chase. Motivation fades, it weakens, it disappears when life hits you. But identity endures, and identity is what you're building right now. So when you choose discipline, you're choosing who you want to become 6 months from now. You're choosing the future you refuse to walk away from again. You're choosing the life your old habits stole from you. A life that opens up only when you decide you're worthy of living it. A disciplined person doesn't negotiate with weakness. They don't bargain with excuses or search for shortcuts. They decide. They move forward, no matter how tired they are, no matter how slow the progress feels, no matter how quiet the journey is. They move even when no one is cheering, even when no one sees the work, even when the world assumes they're standing still. That's who you're becoming today. Someone whose discipline is carved deeply into their identity. Someone who rises without needing validation or applause. Someone who does the work not because it's easy, not because they feel inspired, but because it's who they are now, permanently and undeniably. Your new life doesn't start tomorrow or next week or when circumstances improve. It starts right now with this choice, this moment, this version of you stepping forward. This is the moment you step into your new identity. This is the moment your new life begins, and nothing will ever be the same again. There comes a point when discipline stops feeling like something you're trying to cling to. It becomes the standard you refuse to fall below, no matter how tired or overwhelmed you are. You've already proven you can survive hard moments, storms, setbacks, and days that nearly broke you. Now you're proving you can create difficulty on purpose, because you know it makes you stronger. Most people only change when life forces their hand. But you're becoming the rare kind of person who changes by choice long before circumstances demand it. This is the stage where discipline becomes identity, where consistency becomes instinct, and effort becomes a natural extension of who you are. You stop asking, do I feel like doing this today? And you start asking, does this align with the person I'm becoming? Because disciplined people don't chase motivation or wait to feel inspired. They build systems that allow them to show up regardless of how they feel. Every time you do the work when your mind tells you not to, you strengthen the identity you're stepping into and weaken the identity you're leaving behind. Your future self is watching every move you make right now, and they are silently grateful that you didn't quit when it would have been easy to. You don't even realize it yet, but you're becoming the type of person others will look to for strength. The type of person who moves with purpose and conviction, even in silence. Someone who keeps their promises, someone who honors their commitments, someone who doesn't betray themselves. Most people never reach this level of discipline. They get stuck negotiating with their weakness, losing the same battle over and over again. But you're learning that weakness doesn't vanish. You simply stop giving it authority. You stop letting it make decisions for you. Every time you show up for yourself, you're proving something powerful. Not to the world, but to the person in the mirror. You're proving that you can rely on yourself, that your word carries weight, that you don't fold under pressure anymore. And when you trust yourself, everything changes, because self-trust makes discipline feel natural instead of forced. You no longer break the promises you make in the dark. You no longer abandon the goals you set when you were clear-minded, because now you understand something life-changing. Comfort was the enemy the entire time, not the obstacles. Comfort kept you small. Comfort kept you stagnant. Comfort kept you repeating the same year again and again. Discipline, on the other hand, makes you dangerous in the best way. Dangerous to your excuses, dangerous to your fear, dangerous to the limits you once believed in, and dangerous to the version of you that wasted time, because that version can no longer survive the person you're becoming. Your standards are rising quietly, steadily, without needing to broadcast it. And that's how you know the change is real. Because discipline that's only loud online is fake. What you're building is quiet, private, and unshakable. You're not doing this for recognition. You're doing this for transformation. And transformation never happens in a single dramatic moment. It happens in hundreds of small, boring, disciplined decisions that no one claps for. Decisions most people avoid, decisions most people delay, decisions most people excuse. You're not choosing the easy path anymore. You're choosing the path that builds your future, brick by brick. And every brick you lay, every small decision you honor, creates a foundation you can stand on with pride. A foundation strong enough to support the life you want. One day, you'll look back at this version of yourself with gratitude, because this is the version who refused to run from the work. Not because you always felt strong, but because you decided to act strong even when you felt weak. This is the grind that shapes your future. This is the work that transforms discipline into identity and identity into destiny. There is a moment when discipline stops feeling like something you're trying to hold on to. It becomes the truth of who you are, the core of your identity, the standard you refuse to break. You've pushed, you've grown, you've endured challenges most people would have collapsed under. Now you stand in a place where you don't just survive the path, you command it. Because discipline is no longer something you chase or force. It's something you embody, something you carry with quiet certainty. Most people never reach this point in their lives. They quit right before the breakthrough, right before the moment everything starts to make sense. But you didn't quit, you didn't fold, you didn't walk away. You kept rising on the days it felt impossible. That alone separates you from the version of yourself you used to be. You didn't become stronger by accident. You became stronger by choice. Your old self didn't disappear. You outgrew them. You outpaced them. You outshined them through action. You outgrew the excuses that once controlled you. You outgrew the hesitation that once slowed you. You outgrew the fear that once told you who you could be. And now you stand here with something most people never develop, Self-respect earned through consistent action. Discipline is not about being perfect every day. It's about becoming someone who shows up even when perfection isn't possible. And that identity is taking root inside you now, growing stronger every time you choose the harder path. Do you understand how powerful that is? To become someone you're proud of? Your future is not opening by luck or chance. It's opening because you're pushing it open with intention and discipline. Every time you show up, you widen the path. Every time you commit, you sharpen your edge and reinforce your foundation. The world will never know how hard it was for you to get here, but you know. And that truth is powerful. You know the nights you wanted to quit but didn't. You know the mornings where you stood up anyway, even though no one would have blamed you for resting. You know the battles you fought in silence, and you know you overcame them without applause, without praise, without recognition. That's what makes this moment matter so much, because it's proof that you can build something extraordinary from nothing. This discipline you've built, it belongs to you. It wasn't given to you. It wasn't handed down. You earned it through effort and pain. And now that you have it, your life will not go backwards again. You've stepped too far forward to ever return to who you were. You're walking into a future that demands strength, and you're strong enough to handle it now. You're stepping into a life that requires discipline. And discipline is part of you now, not something you struggle to maintain. You're chasing goals that once intimidated you, and now they bend beneath the weight of your consistency. This is the shift that most people never reach. The shift where discipline becomes identity, and identity becomes destiny. Where you stop asking, "Can I do this?" and you begin telling yourself, "Watch me do it." Because you've proven it in the quiet hours, in the private sacrifices, in the moments you fought battles no one will ever see. Your actions have rewritten your future. Your discipline has rebuilt the person you see in the mirror. And now you walk forward with certainty, not hope. Certainty that the person you are becoming is powerful, capable, and unstoppable. Your new life starts today, not someday, not eventually, not later. Today, right now, with the strength you've already built. Sharpen your edge.